The next concept is concurrent patterns in Java. So we have discussed multi-threading. Then there are some newly added concurrent uh, classes we have seen in collections. And then here is a concurrent patterns. So this feature is introduced into Java 6 itself. So what exactly concurrency patterns into Java? So already we are using multi-threading, creating a thread class by extending superclass called thread and by implementing runnable interface. Okay. But here the problem with a simple thread class and a runnable interface is we have seen some programs in our multi-threading sessions, right? Suppose if you go to threads programs, here you can see creating of your thread class by extending a thread class and runnable interface, and in which you cannot manage with the complex logics. Okay, at a time you can create with the max number of threads is 10. You wanted to create with a thread in your class, you will be creating with a class, okay, your t1 and extends thread class, you will be creating like this, and you will be overriding with a run method public void run, and max this kind of threads you will be creating into your application. Only 10 threads you can create with. Okay, so suppose if I wanted to work with more number of threads into my application, so what is the solution? Okay, and as well as how do we perform a number of threads concurrently to execute with a certain frameworks? Okay, that was the limitation with existing thread, and this is also can be done with the okay called runnable interface. We were using with the implements runnable. Okay, here we are able to override the run method and we are able to use it, right? But still there is a limitation for both this runnable interface and as well as extending the thread class way of creating a threads. So that is the reason we are going with a new interface called as executors. Executors is an interface which is capable of producing number of threads on demand. So whenever you need hundreds of threads for your application, we go with the executor framework. And first of all, how do we create the executor, and what are the different types of executors are available, and how do we assign a task to the executor? Earlier, we used to write every task into our run method only. Means the logic needs to be implemented by the thread, we used to write inside run method, right? But now in our executor framework, the flexibility is we can create our own task by using runnable interface, and another interface is introduced called callable interface. Okay, there are certain differences between runnable and callable. In a runnable interface, always you can remember when we write our run method, run cannot take any arguments. So most of the time I need to pass some input to my uh, logic, so that it has to do some logic on the data, and my method may return any data type once after the task is finished. I am not able to do that because public void run is always is a void return type, always it will not accept any argument. That is how it is designed in the runnable class. We have to make use in the same way. That's a limitation. So that is the reason a new interface is introduced called callable. So this complete executor framework is nothing but the most refinement for your existing multi-threading concepts, and implemented with a new number of interfaces, and we can design with more number of threads into our application we can execute with. That is the interface called as executor interface. And for this executor, we have the types of executors. What are the different types of executors we are going to see, and how do we assign a task, and how do we execute that, and what is a callable interface, what is the benefit of callable interface, we are going to look into. So here is when we write a task in a normal Java class with your extends runnable, what do is you will write some logic here. Okay, the logic can be what is that, system dot out dot println of, very basic logic we were doing, like thread dot current thread dot okay get name. This is nothing but simply printing of the name. So this is the logic you are writing with a runnable. When you wanted to run it, what do? We will create, right, an object of t1 first, and afterwards we need to create an object of runnable interface, First is you are created your current object, then you need to create with a super class called thread, and you need to pass your object to this constructor. Then after you will say start. This is all the steps you need to do to run with your task created by your thread. So this is the steps, right? So this can be simplified by means of your lambda expression. Simply you can create like this. That can be called by your thread. Shall we replace that? Simply how do we do that? You will say that runnable some r1 equal to, right, thread t equal to new thread of, here you just write a message using lambda. What is the lambda expression you write? You just write your thread name printing. Instead of writing this class, overriding the method, just with the lambda you are able to complete that. Then how do you run that? Runnable task is created. Simply you need to pass the task to your thread class, and then thread dot start you can say, right? You just pass your task name called r1, and then you say that t dot start. So now you don't need to write at all. You don't need to write the child class at all, because we are making use of our lambda. This is what is a simplification. Just I am commenting that that is not required at all, and this set of statements are not required at all. Done. In a simple 3 lines of code, we are able to avoid this code and as well as this entire code, right? So because of your lambda expression and your runnable interface reference, instead of implementing and overriding, just we take a reference, we are creating a lambda. And then as usual, to create a thread object, we create it, pass this task to this, and then say start. So your runnable interface get executed and all the tasks can be executed with. Just I'll comment the remaining code and just I will be showing you the thread method using a lambda expression. So this is how we can make use of your thread object get created, thread underscore 0, right? So this is how you can replace your existing threads with a lambda expression, first thing. Next is how do we create an executor pattern? What is the purpose of executor? So here, instead of saying like creating a thread object and then start, okay, instead of doing this simplest way, there is a replacement for this, right? We don't need to create a thread object, pass this object, okay. What is the replacement for that? That itself is called as your executor pattern. Create a reference of your executor interface and the type of a implementation class you need to create with. How do we create it? So we have basically 3 types of executor services. So first one you can say here, first one is called as new cached thread pool. Executor service reference equal to cached thread pool. It means, let's say I am creating 100 threads into my application. I can make all the 100 created threads available in the cache, so that whenever I am going to use that thread, it will come from the cache, so that the performance can be increased a lot if you are going to use cached thread pool. And over a period of time, if you are not going to use that threads that get released from your cache, that is called as a cached thread pool. Second is called new fixed thread pool. Fixed thread pool means for which there is no caching effect, but what it is going to do is it is going to create a fixed number of threads for you. And let's say you are using all fixed number of threads, means all threads you are using into your application. Now you need a 11th thread, one more thread is needed. So then it will enter into a queue, and as soon as the thread is released from out of these 10 working threads, so that task is assigned. That way it is going to work with. If it is fixed thread pool, means it is not like above 10 you cannot create. Above 10, internally it will be waiting for some time to get a chance. That is called fixed thread pool. Next is called as a new single thread pool. Means at a time there will be only one active thread object it will be working with, and any new thread comes for your application, it will enter into a queue. There will be a queue, unbounded queue. The size of the queue can be anything, and all that queue threads will be working under worker position, means they will be waiting for other threads to finish. That is called as a new thread executor. So out of these three types of executor pools, any one you can make use of. Okay, one is single thread executor pool, and then new fixed number of thread pool, and then is cached thread pool. So for example, first we will be working with a simple kind of a thread pool. We will take a new scheduled, one more type is called scheduled thread pool. Scheduled thread pool means we can schedule our pool execution. Let's say at particular intervals of time I wanted to execute my threads. That is also possible. So first I am going to create with a executor service, new executor service. First we will take a new of fixed pool. We will take, okay, new fixed thread pool of, let's say I am going to use only 2 threads for my application. You can specify the size. If you need 10, you can make it 10. 100, you can make it 100, right? Then after, how do you go and execute this task? This is a task you need to run. Task means your thread. How do you run it? Es dot, okay, execute. Es dot execute of, you give your R1. That's all. Just like a start in your normal threading program. Just like your start, now this is es dot execute. Now this is the executor service, is going to run all the services, all the tasks which are been assigned with. So whenever you run it, it is going to start running your thread and it is going to execute it. Which line it is? 33, right? Okay, it is duplicated. The variable name is duplicated. So let us make it es new. Make it new. We just created a new object for which we have assigned the task. Then run it. Right? We are going to run that particular thread and we are going to get the thread pool name also, you will get it. And thread 1 is your thread name. Right? This is how, in a very simplest way, you can create a thread object by using runnable interface and you can execute it. And now you can see when you are using this thread executor pool, what is an advantage? You can have such methods. Okay, scheduled thread pool type, cached thread pool type, and fixed thread pool type. And what are the other benefits? Once you start your thread, you can await for some termination. Let us say you wanted to terminate your thread after 1000 seconds. Instead of simply give your join method, you can say await termination. Okay. Next is you can check whether it is terminated. Right? That is possible. Let us say there are a number of tasks are assigned on the top. Now you wanted to invoke all. You can say invoke all. Means there are list of tasks you have created, means list of threads. All you wanted to run at a time instead of running individually. That is also possible. Clear? Next, let us see one more example with the executor service with the multiple tasks. Okay. First task you can see runnable task 1, in which simply you are printing a name. And simply you are saying that, okay, sleep time for 2 milliseconds, and then you are just coming out of the task. Second task is created. Okay, one more task. So how many tasks we are creating? All 4, 5 tasks are created. Now, how do we run all these tasks at a time? First, we need to submit. Submit the task 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's nothing but like here you can give, one is called your service object dot execute method. This is also to start your threads. The other way is, okay, if at all, if you are using the executor service interface here, okay, you can also make use of a method called submit. When you say submit also, all these 5 threads are going to run. All these are threads, right? Whenever you are using a runnable interface using your lambda expression, this is all lambda, right? From here to here it is lambda. This is one thread. This is another thread. Likewise, we created 5 threads. We wanted to run a 5 threads. Okay, you just check how the 5 threads are running here. So every thread is taking some milliseconds time, right? Sleep of 3 milliseconds, and this is seconds, means 3000 milliseconds. So as the time what you have given, As the time you have specified, accordingly it is going to, okay, execute your application. That is how your executor framework is helpful to create your threads and run your test. Running can be done with the submit method and as well as execute method. And next is what exactly the executor interface and what are the implementations we have. Executor is a top level interface in which we have an execute method and it has the subclasses. What are the different subclasses we have is so far what we discussing. So the type of subclasses are all these. Okay, single thread pool executor, fixed pool thread executor, then cached thread pool, and one more is called scheduled thread pool. Okay, here we have the example, scheduled thread pool. Okay, so that is all these are the sub classes of your executor service interface. What exactly this pattern is going to do? It is providing managing number of tasks, executing them with all the additional methods like before terminate to wait for some time. Okay, all that features are possible which is not possible in a simple threads. So there is a single thread executor, fixed thread pool executor. Okay, you can see how do we create a task and how do we assign that, right? In an executor service, okay, like multiple tasks can be created and assigned, and all the tasks whatever you have assigned, if your thread pool size is 2 but you have given the task 4, the other 2 will enter into a queue. Okay, that is called as a waiting queue. And that's all about executor service pattern. Okay, which is used to handle with your task which is given by your runnable interface. But all the time we are saying about another new type of an interface called as callable, right? What is the importance of callable interface and how it is different from runnable? So in a run method we have a limitation in a runnable interface. What is the limitation is always it will go to the task and it will execute, but it will never have any return time. We cannot catch any data and we cannot pass any data. Either way it is not possible. Okay, that is a limitation with the runnable. So that is the reason the new feature is introduced into, okay, concurrency frameworks called as callable. So callable is a new interface introduced into concurrency framework. The advantage is here, for callable interface we can pass the input and also we can return the value. There is a return is possible. Whatever return type is there, you can provide the return type here. As in the previous example, we created an executor service application for service reference first. Then after we are creating a task by using callable interface. It is similar to runnable, but it is advanced than runnable. What is the purpose of callable is, in a callable we can pass an input, we can also get back the result. Always it can catch the output. Runnable cannot catch it. Okay, and the data type here is generally we can in a sample example we are giving string, but here whatever we are going to catch it from the callable is called future object. Future means sometime later once a thread its logic is completed, it will give the value, right? So that is the name, that is the reason the name is given as a future class here. So after the thread is completed its execution, the future is getting stored. That is the advantage of callable. Now callable is also will be created with some task. That task we are going to assign to our executor service. So for example, this is a task we created. You can name it as for easy understanding task 1. Now here you can call it as task 1. Right? You have assigned the task. After you submit the task, what happens? Earlier in the previous example, okay, runnable interface example, you're not getting, after you submit it, there is no return type. Right? Are we getting any return type when we submit? There is no return type. It is always void. But coming to in callable, the difference is it will give you a future object. And that is a future object. By .get method, you can return it and you can print it. Clear? Let us say we will run this thread by using callable interface and executor service. So let us say I am going to run it. So it will return a value with a string, that is the returned value it is going to show you. Hello from callable. That is the difference between a runnable and a callable. Callable will always return a value. Okay, task cannot return in a runnable interface, whereas in callable it can have a return type. So callable interface is an interface. The method of a callable interface is always call. Okay, the method name is call. So here also for executor service, when you pass a callable object, you can make use of submit method only. Means when we are going to pass our task here, the same submit method you can use, whether it is a task of runnable or whether it is a task of callable. Task means thread. So thread can be implemented with a callable interface, which is advanced way, and thread can be implemented with a runnable interface, which is the older version. Okay, so with the callable, to get the future values, we use executor service. Executor service is for execution of threads and maintain your thread pool and threads objects and its execution process. And coming to callable is a type of a interface newly added to create the threads. Okay, future is nothing but a written type of your callable interface. Always when a thread is executed, finally it gives a result. That result is stored in a future object. Right? That kind of logics we will be doing with a multi-threading, which is called as concurrency. Okay, with executor service, concurrency patterns, these are called as concurrency patterns. So here we can also shut down our executor service, and we also have lots many other methods, container related methods. Earlier in a simple thread we don't have such methods. So here executor service dot await termination, you can wait for some time, after that you can terminate all the threads associated with that executor. You can say execute, you can say submit, you can invoke all the threads associated, you can check whether it is shut down or not, is shut down, is terminated. Okay, such methods are there, you can explore on that part. So finally this callable interface is explained, and you can go through the differences between callable and runnable. It is very important. And what exactly is a future? Future is nothing but once a callable interface is performing with a task using threads, once the task is completed, definitely it is going to return a value. That return data type here is called as a future. So always executor.submit will return something that is stored in a future. But future can't be directly printed. What do you need to do? Future itself has certain methods called get to get the value. That way you have to make use of future object. That's all about the concurrency patterns which we are going to use on top of our multi-threading concept. Clear, guys?